Hi, welcome back to Book Bus with Jan and Payne, a podcast where we talk about romance books, our current reads, and we also have the pleasure of sitting down with some of our favorite authors and chatting with them about their amazing books.
Hello. I have not read as much as I thought I was gonna read.
Same here.
What have you read?
Do not ask.
I feel like I am in a book slump.
Yes.
And I don't know what I will say I did finish this book. The author sent me an arc of her book. The book is by Lena Hendricks, and it was Protecting You. And it's a single mom. Enemies. I mean, it's a first to lovers who turn then enemies who then turn lovers. So I finished that. I finished it, and I mean, I liked it. I really, really did like it. It was the book, my first book of hers. But other than that, I'm in a book slump.
I finished Sweet Devil, and then I read Parker S. Huntington, Notebook, Darling Venom, and then I think that book put me in a book slump. And so I don't feel like reading anything because, oh my gosh, girl, pick up that book. You love crying. You said if a book does not make you cry, then it's not good. So this book made me cry. Like,
what is it about?
Gosh. So without giving out too spoilers or anything, it's this book might have some triggers for some people because it doesn't really say, but so she met this boy, Helen. They met when they were both 13. And so he was getting bullied and everything. And so they promised each other, well, they were going to commit suicide. They both met at the rooftop, and then they both promised each other that they will meet on Valentine's Day on the roof once a year to check on each other. And so they did that. And then the fourth year, is it going to be spoiler if I said it?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, he ended up committing suicide.
No, because it says that on the blurb.
It does?
I think so.
Okay, well, he committed suicide. And then 4 years later, she met his brother. And so it's about grief.
But is it like enemies to lovers or?
It's kind of enemies to lovers because the brother didn't like the older brother. Like, so it is.
You know, I ordered that paperback because I guess it has like a special edition cover. So I ordered it and I actually got it this morning. But I literally, this book slump has killed me because now I have a bunch of arcs in my Kindle. Yeah. And I'm about to get another one that I've been dying for. And I've talked about it in this podcast. And I'm not going to say which one it is, but I am like freaking out that I'm pretty sure that's the book that's going to get me in a book, like out of my book slump. But I don't think I get that until next week. So this week, I mean, I have KK Allen's fired up. We got the Hostile Takeover by Miller Wilde. We're gonna get, I think we're about to get Veronica Eden's book. And then I bought King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. That is a vampire book. I've been wanting to read more vampire books since I finished Emily Goodwin's books. And it sounds really good. So I'm gonna read that one. But I feel like I have a bunch of arcs that I need to read because I'm so behind.
Yeah.
But that one, I did order it. So that is on my TBR stack.
I ordered the paperback with the man on it. His stare.
How? I couldn't find it.
It just went live today.
I still couldn't find it because seriously? I was gonna order the man cover too. Yeah. But I looked on there, and when I put paperback, was it separate from the Kindle?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. I'll look for it tonight. But I did end up ordering the special edition one. So
yeah.
But I'll definitely pick that up after I finish my arcs. Probably after I finish The King of Battle and Blood. I've been done. To read that one. Everybody talks about it, and the cover is so like intriguing. I'm a big Twilight fan, so I love vampires, but I've never found a book that would make me go nuts about a vampire. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm very picky when it comes to like vampire books. Like I know they're unbelievable, but I still I want that real feeling, you know what I mean?
You know, I don't think I've read a vampire book yet.
You haven't? I read Twilight was my first one. Then I didn't pick up anything until I picked up Emily Goodwin's. And then this is gonna probably be my second one. I do want more vampire books. I love that type of stuff, but we shall see. I am super scared to read Amelia's because it's a trilogy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I ask a stupid question and you're gonna get the answer you already know. Like why do I even ask? Of course it is a trilogy. And I can already feel that cliffhanger killing me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll keep you guys posted on what we're reading today. It's so exciting because I know we've been talking about how we're going to invite a Bookstagrammer to join us. And we have a Bookstagrammer with us. Her name is Ashley, and her handle on Instagram is Once Upon a Romance Blog. She is amazing. We've met her before. Actually, this year, we met in person. Such an honor, and we're so excited to have her with us today. So it is so amazing to have you here with us. I know we saw each other back in July, if I'm not mistaken.
At the Driven premiere. Yeah.
Yes. How you've been? Tell us a little bit about yourself. How, what type of books do you read? Tell us about your blog a little bit.
Of course. Well, it's great. First of all, it's great to see you guys again and talk with you. I started with my blog, I don't know how long ago. It was a while ago. Let's just say it was when 𝐼𝐸 came out. Christy Bromberg's 𝐼𝐸, that's how long ago. And, I wasn't an avid reader at all. Growing up, I hated to read, actually. I thought it was like the death of me. I have to read a book. Are you kidding me? This is absolutely crazy. No, I'm not going to read. And then probably when I hit 21, my mom bought me the Twilight books and I was like, okay, I'll read and see what it's about. And I read through them and then I lost interest again. And then for some reason, something just clicked in my brain and I started reading again. And I was reading so much and my husband was getting upset at me. He was like, you're spending so much money on books. Like, this is ridiculous. And you love to read, figure something out to do with it. And, from there, I was like, okay, let's start like reading books and reviewing books because I'm already doing that. Why not? And I'll just say it all started with, of course, 50 Shades. Everybody gets into the 50 Shades of Grey. That's kind of like where everybody starts with, is 50 Shades of Grey. And then from there, you go to Goodreads and you're like, okay, what's next? Like, what's the next book to read? Like after that, and it just trickles all down. And, so I, just started reading and really getting into it. And, you know, it was amazing. And then I had we have a Facebook page, but it's really not that active. And then from there, I went on to Instagram. And that's when I started doing all of my Instagram and posting and watching you guys and, just going from there. And books that it's so hard because, you start with, the race car driver and the guy with the whips and, all of that. And, it just goes. And my genres that I read are just all over the place, really all over the place. But I have a heart set of genres, like your small town romances and your second chance and, throwing your accidental pregnancies. And, then you have, The Boss, and it's just so much. There's such a wide variety, but I tend to stick to the same books. And, Jan, like I'll message you. I'm like, I'm in a book funk. Give me a book. Give me this book now. What do you suggest? And also having people in the community, you can reach out to and be like, okay, I just finished this. And okay, what are you into? What do you really want to read right now? And it's good to like be able to reach to your community and they'll tell you. And I mean, sometimes you like it and sometimes you don't, but hey, it fills the spot that you're missing at the moment. So
and
yeah.
That's true, because me and Payne, we said this before, we met thanks to Driven. And I feel like me and her go back and forth with, you should read this one. This book is really good. You should try this author. This author is really good. So the community does help you discover new books and new authors, which is very exciting. I think everybody has their little, well, you can read it when you can. I can't read cheating books. I know I don't, Payne, you can't read cheating books either. And I don't know what else. I think for me it's cheating, and I don't like threesome books, you could say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a great author out there, and I don't want to name names, but there's a great author out there, and her books were absolutely amazing. But it was a threesome book, and I dove into it thinking it was a threesome book. And then I got a little bit more into it and realized it's a threesome book. And then by the end of the book, I was like, wait a second, what's going on? And now you're all back together? Like you were apart and now you're back together? Wait, I'm so confused. I'm so confused right now. But it was a fabulous book. It was an absolutely fabulous book. I would recommend.
But wouldn't you consider 50 Shades of Grey like hardcore BDSM?
I can't remember who I read. It was a very, very long time ago, and it was a beautifully well-written book, but it was just really too much in the dominance world. He was really doing a lot of things. Like you said, the cheating part, he was cheating and then getting back with her. And it was just like this push and pull and just one of these things. And, I get what you're saying about the cheating, this push and pull. And I was like, why do you keep going back to him? Like, first of all, he's cheating. And second of all, he's beating you to a pulp. Like, why? This doesn't make sense to me. So just when they really go at it, I don't
think I've ever read one like that. I think I haven't read 50 Shades of Grey. Payne is a hardcore 50 Shades of Grey fan. I don't think I've read any like hardcore, because I'm not a 50 Shades of Grey fan.
Yeah.
I've tried reading the books and then never finished the first one. And I tried really hard. But then again, I think that depends on what everybody's into. I got into the book world, I would say, thanks to Christy. Into the romance books.
Yeah.
And Payne got into it because of which ones was it?
Well, I was kind of like Ashley. I started reading 50 Shades, and then I kind of stopped reading. And then I picked up The Steel Brothers by Helen Hart. And so I started reading again after I picked up that series. But, I seriously don't think 50 is really that hardcore BDSM.
Mm-mm.
Like I think I've read a few books that is way more BDSM than 50 Shades.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Oh, you like?
Yeah,
50?
no,
I've never read 50.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there who haven't read it, and
let me go by the movies.
The books are different, that's always how it is though, but I was the same. Like I started with 50 Shades, and then I went to Christie, and then from Christie I went to Meredith Wild, Hardwire, all of her series, and then from there I went to Gabriel's Inferno and to Sylvia Day, and then I went to that's where Jody came in with This Man and all of her books, and then so it kind of just started like going. I think I read all the really great ones first at that time. And then, from there, it's just, Thoughtless series. And, there's a lot of feelings about the Thoughtless series, about like he cheats on her and there's a lot of cheating going on. And, if you stick with it, it's a fantastic, fantastic trilogy. Fantastic.
That one, is that the Rockstar run?
With Kel and Kyle, which is hilarious because you'll see in a lot of books people referencing their band, the D-Bags, and you'll like hear all these like references, which is hilarious. But yeah, like then you read the Salvation series, and Corinne Michael.
Corinne is one of my favorite authors. I love her. Or her book with Liam. It is the saddest book I've read of hers. I have to be honest, because have you read it, Pink? I don't know if you've read that one yet, or have you? You did?
I did.
I feel like for me, that's the saddest book that she's written, just because her husband comes back. Spoiler alert.
I know. It's a gut-wrenching book. It's so gut-wrenching. Like you said, it's sad, and it's just, but that book gives you all of the feels that you need, and then it just keeps coming. You just keep getting punched after punch after punch.
But I always said I like books that make me cry, so.
Yeah.
I think those are the ones that stick with you more. Like if you're crying and that's just a book you will never forget. Like to this day, I can like retell you The Coincidence of Cali and Cayden by Jessica Sorensen. I reread that book so many times. I cry like a baby every time I read it. And I can tell you every single detail about that book.
Yeah.
And because it made me cry like so hard.
That was a gut-wrenching book too. I remember that book. That was gut-wrenching as well. Yeah. You just, when you read a book, for me, it's, I just want all the feels, no matter how it comes. I want all those feels. Another favorite author of mine, I love Kennedy Fox, and I don't know if either of you have read her before. T.L. Swan is another person who's absolutely amazing. Kennedy Fox, I've read hers from the beginning, starting at Checkmate series all the way. And they, they have their funny times, and you laugh and you cry, you cry, you get the sucker punch, you get it all too. But yeah, it's really, like you said, it's, you want to cry in a book. You want those feelings when you read a book. And there are those times that you need those happy feelings too, those happy books, those books that make you feel really good.
Yeah. I was recent, and I think I remember which book it was. I texted Pang and I told her, this book, I'm reading this book, and I'm crying, because I'm so mad of what the heck is happening, and I've never cried because I'm so mad. And I don't want to say the name of the book yet, but it was.
Well, then you're gonna need to tell me about it.
I'll tell you which one it is, but it was really good. But the stuff that happens in that book, it's very hard. Like it's just, I don't know, it's weird because it is a book, but you also feel like, I don't know if it's just me. Like, have you guys ever met Jay McLean?
No.
Like her books, literally, and I've told her this before. I'm like, for me, her books, it feels like every time her characters hurt, I'm hurting. And I read her, I forgot which series it was, the Heartache Duet. That book has made me cry like no other book ever has, to where I had to stop and take a breather and then start again because it was so hard. And I want to cry right now just thinking about it because it is so sad. And I'm trying to convince Payne to read it because it's really good. Payne doesn't read young adult.
I have the books. I have the books. I bought the books. I just haven't found time to read it yet.
So I'm trying to convince her to read them because they're really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And I guess when it has to do with, because you put yourself in those shoes. When I was a teen, some of the stuff she was feeling, I was feeling. So it, you can like experience some of the stuff that you're reading.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants a heart-wrenching book, definitely that duet.
Okay.
Anything by J. McLean will have you freaking bawling.
No, I'll have to, you'll have to send me the titles.
Oh, yeah.
There was a book a long time ago and she's changed, and I can't remember, and forgive me, author, I can't remember. She changed the name on her book. And this was one of these books. It was so well written, but at the end of the book, I just wanted to throw the book against the wall because I was so I was heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken. But it was about a vet who comes back who has excruciating PTSD, and just the ending just destroyed me. And I was like, wait, what the heck just went on? But in the whole entire story, I love that it told a story. And I love sometimes when the authors they don't sugarcoat things. They really do, give, real life events that happen.
Yeah.
Real life events. And, I just read a book recently that miscarriages and all of this, and it really does touch you, and that's what makes it more real, because there are all these, you read these fantasy books, and of course they're fantasy, and you're like, oh, I love this guy, and oh, they're so sweet, and but to have something real life happen, it can be a trigger for a lot of people, and that's always good to know. It's a trigger warning, hey, just FYI. But also a lot of the time, people who've had those things and events happen in their lives, it's a good thing to know, hey, I'm not alone. This has happened to me and I'm not alone. So they can have an outlet in books, which is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Corinne Michaels.
Yes.
It hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
It hurts my heart just thinking about it. Like, Could Have Been Us, I think it was.
It was her last book. Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Sorry, people. It's okay.
They don't know the whole story. There's better things for that story.
Like, I feel like she always throws in stuff like actual real life situations that could happen.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how she gets you. That's how she gets you. I mean, you're talking about crime, and gosh, I'm gonna be shot in the head for this. It's Will and Nash, right? Or was it Devney Perry? Which
Both.
one?
They're the same author.
Indigo Ridge.
My book.
But you read it and you're like, wait, where are you getting the concept? Like, this is so real. This does happen in real life. And it was fantastic the way she wrote the whole entire book. Like, you felt like you were just
it was a roller coaster. Yep.
And it really happened. All the twists and turns, and you're like smacked across the face going this way and that way, and you don't know where you're going, but it all ends up, you're like, oh, that's where it ends. Now
that book gave me so much anxiety though, because I literally thought it was the uncle for a second.
Yes.
I was like, oh, it's the uncle and he looks so nice, and I'm just like, that was a good book though. That has to be my favorite book of 2021.
That was a really good book. Yeah.
I say favorites. Devney / Willa is like phenomenal. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's so hard to pinpoint your favorite book of 2021. It really is. Like, you can be like, okay, I'm going to give my favorite book of Corinne's of 2021. I'm going to give my favorite book.
Okay, so let me ask both of you guys, what is your top 3 books of 2021? And I'm going to make it hard, and I'm just narrowing it down to 3.
Can you share yours first?
That's so hard. There's so many.
Indigo Ridge, Return to Us, and I'm going to say Pieces of You by Jay McLean. But then I really like The Bluff, but I'm going to put that with Indigo Ridge because it is Willa Nash / Stephanie Perry.
No.
Oh, that is such a cheater.
Yeah. That's a different book.
So, okay, my top 3 is Indigo Ridge, Pieces of You. I think that's what, by Jay McLean, and then Return to Us.
Okay. Oh, you're making it so hard, though. So hard. Ugh. And here I am, like, scrolling through my Kindle right now. Like, which were the books, like, if I'm, like, looking sideways, I'm like, I'm actually reading this type of stuff right now. I'm terrible. I'm terrible. There were so many books, that came out. There were so many books that came out this past year. And it's really hard to pick truly just one, because a lot of my favorite authors came out with their books. And just off the top of my head, Jodi Ellen, she just put out those 2 fantastic mafia books. Absolutely fantastic. Oh my gosh, I was blown away. You don't even think it's her writing because it's just so amazing. Both of those books, and I'm going to go a group of books because it's like a trilogy. It's like a trilogy.
That's cheating. That's cheating.
But you can't, because when you have Skye Warren, who put out that fantastic series that's all like based on like, Jane Eyre, right? Yeah, Jane Eyre, like that was a fantastic, it's such a cliffhanger. And then you have Corinne, who just puts out the most gut-wrenching stories that you've ever had. But you're killing me. You're honestly killing me. If I was literally to go off of the top of my head, The Enigma was the top 3 for sure. I just finished a book by Kennedy Fox, which is The End of Us. It's not out yet. That was another one of my favorites because I love her cabin series. I love their cabin series. It's absolutely amazing. And then I'm just going to go ahead and go, Indigo Ridge, because it threw me for a loop. It really did. It wasn't something that I would have thought to ever read until, the both of you started putting out, you got to read this book. You got to read this book. It's absolutely fantastic. You have to read it. And I did. And I was just like, wow, this is truly amazing. Truly amazing. So, and then, I can go to my top 10, top 15, I can just keep going on what I love.
Well, because I do really want to add Bad Cruise on there, but we said top 3, but I'm going to sneak Bad Cruise in there because Bad Cruise for me was actually really good too. Yes, but was it? Oh my gosh, she's put out so many books this year. Bad Cruise was fantastic. It was a comedy, yet it was gut-wrenching, yet it was just, I loved it. I loved their banter. It's so funny because
I loved it all. Mr. Wiener and Mrs. Wiener was amazing.
It's so funny because she's like, well, it's supposed to be a rom-com. I'm like, I was legit bawling. I was crying. I was texting Peng. I was like, dude, I'm legit crying right now.
Well, did she put out The Villain this year, or was that last year?
Last year.
That was good.
The Rake I didn't realize The Rake was coming out February.
Yep.
I don't know why I thought Ruthless Rival was coming out first.
No.
Which ones are your top 3?
My
You've done
top
it for her
3.
too.
Yeah.
My top 3 have to be.
Well, and then you got the Casanova behind you, and that was another.
Yes.
You know, I haven't finished that book yet, and I've been on like page 8 for like 2 months.
Yeah, you need to get on with it.
Get on it.
Let's see. Obviously, the Casanova. And then I will say The Naked Fisherman by Jewel E. Ann. That one. And then I also love The Forsaken King by Penelope Barsetti.
Huh.
Those 3.
I haven't read that one.
Yeah,
I haven't read
that.
That one just released yesterday. It's more of a fantasy, historical.
Okay.
So yeah, I love it. So those are my top 3.
Would you say the Casanova is your favorite from the 3 of that series? Which one's your favorite? Oh, it's the second one.
Yeah.
Right.
I just love Tristan so much. So Tristan have to be my favorite from the series.
I kind of like the stopover though.
I love Jameson, but I just love the way how Tristan loved like the kids and her, and it's like it's just perfect. So yeah.
When a guy starts loving somebody else's kids,
yeah.
And then those kids were evil.
They were.
Well, one of them was evil.
They gave him a run for his money. For sure. For sure.
From all the books you've read this year, though, which is your favorite book boyfriend? I'll make it easy on you. We're gonna go with the top 3 again.
Maybe top 10.
You're killing us. Why are you doing this to us?
Let's make things more fun. I'm gonna look through my Kindle too because I'm like,
see,
which ones are mine?
See, you have to. All right. Okay. Top 3. You know, it's hard. I'm going to say top 3 this year have to be, at least 2 of them have to be James and Danny from Jodi's series.
Those were good.
Yeah, they were. Well, and then the very end, you get to see Danny in another light. Oh, can't stand it. Can't stand it. And then, you know, I'm going to have to go with probably with Josh.
From which one?
Hold on. Joshua from A Moment for Us.
Oh, from Corinne's?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then you make it so hard because I just read Kennedy Fox, and then her book, Tristan. I'll take him any day. But it's so hard. But you know, if I had to do the top 2, honestly, it would be Danny and James. And everybody has their opinions on who their favorite book boyfriends are, and you know, but there were so many good males this year in all of the books that came out. You know, Cruz was, I love Cruz because he was just hilarious. He was mean. He was a egotistical man. He was so egotistical, but he just had this comeback to any comment you had, and you just couldn't help but die laughing because it's what?
It was really mean though, which I love a mean hero, don't get me wrong. But there's times I was like, he made me cry because I was like, that is so mean. I would have slapped him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say my favorite, and it's funny because it's Griffin from Indigo Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Griffin from Catherine's Wrecked Palace. And then it has to be, I'm going to say Grayson from Return to Us Again.
Do you have a thing with G's?
That is 3 G's.
And GR?
That is true.
And a lot of Griffin.
That is, and you know, I literally asked Jody this last week. I'm like, do you have a thing for J's? Because all your heroes, half of your heroes start with the letter J.
That's true.
Yeah. And then her name's Jody. And then she said her husband's name is Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
James.
Yeah.
Well, didn't she name her dog after one of her characters?
Did she? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I did ask her. I was like, well, do you like the letter J? She's like, you know, I didn't think of it. Love her.
Well,
She's so funny.
Just like, it's just something they go to, you know?
Yeah.
You have all these J names or G names in your mind.
I mean, I'm not complaining. My name starts with a J, so go for it, Jody. Bring it on all the J's.
And what about your top 3s? She got us.
I am.
I keep looking through my Kindle. Maybe I'll change my list.
Oh.
I know. Yes. I'm kind of doing the same thing.
I think one of them will have to be Cruz. And then the other one will be Dante from Gianna's duet.
Leo from Amelia Wild. I love him so much.
And the third one, let's see.
So it's Cruz, Dante,
and
dun dun dun.
I might have to go with
Keep going.
Oh man, this is hard. I'll go with Fisher.
Really?
I'll go with Fisher.
I still have to read that book.
It's so good.
Yeah. I know. I have a friend who loves her books, and she's just like, you have to read them. You have to read them. And I didn't read this set. But yeah, I'm going to have to read them. Yeah, for sure. You know, another good book, boyfriend. If you guys haven't read Sweeper by Amy Dawes, she just came out with a part of the Harris Brothers series. And Xander was a good one. He's just the sweetest, kindest soul, but like, don't step all over me type of attitude towards him.
I don't think I've read that author. What's the author again?
Amy Dawes. She actually has a Passion Flick. They offered one of her books for Passion Flicks. Her tires. You know.
I think I read her long time ago.
Yeah,
but I haven't. I know she writes a lot of rom-com, right?
Yeah, she does. She writes rom-com, but she also has angst in there as well. You know, Wait for Me. You know, she just, if you're looking for a good-hearted read with a little bit of angst in it, it's a good read. You know, she's done a lot of really good books, and that's kind of one of my authors that I like to go to when I need something that's not either I want to continue with the angst and continue with the emotions that I'm feeling, or I want something to tone it down a little bit. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm on this high of like, I need more, you know, crazy in my life right now. I need a little bit more. I need to keep going. But she's good. She's just, you know, for me, it's, you know, when I just want, you know, something lighthearted and to just, you know, we'll just say sit in the bath or, you know, have some quiet time and have a good laugh. She's a good author to have. Yeah.
I need to add her to my TBR because I think I read her a long time ago. And I think it was Wait for Me, but I don't remember that book at all.
Yeah, she's good. She's good. I really like her. Yeah, she's, you know, she's different, which I like.
But I don't read a lot of rom-coms. I like the pain.
Yeah, I do too. I like the pain too. There was one that I really enjoyed of Amy Dawes. It was One Moment Please, and it was a doctor and, you know, just surprise pregnancy. That was probably one of my favorites of her non-Harris brothers. That was a good one. That was a good one. But yeah, you know, there's so many good books out there.
Yeah, I read it.
I was like, Ping is like, yeah, I was like, you read it?
Yeah, I read that one.
But you know, it's like lighthearted, but there's still a little bit of angst in there, and you still want to throw your Kindle sometimes at the, you know, well, I wanted to throw it at the girl and the guy sometimes, but you know, it was good. It was a good one. You know,
because
a little bit heavier than her other books.
I need to add that to my TBR. My TBR is so long. I think the last rom-com that I read was Bad Cruise, which is, I don't think is a really rom-com, but I don't think it is. Lee, you need to change that. No, I'm lying. Closer by Christy Marie. That was a rom-com. That was really good. I love her books, but that one was a rom-com. That's literally the last rom-com I read. Actually, I'm lying to you. Getting Real by Emma Chase. That one was funny.
Yeah, she's good.
I love Emma.
I don't read a lot of Emma Chase. And it's nothing against Emma Chase. It's just I haven't read a lot of Emma Chase.
How dare you?
I know.
How dare you?
I know. You know, I've read The Royal. You know, I've done it all. And it's nothing against her. I just, they're not something that pops up right at me, but I love her. I absolutely love her writing. I love everything about her. You know, just, you know, Tangled, all of that is just, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I don't know. It's an author that I'm definitely going to have to get back into for sure, because I do love her writing. It's just not something that pops up on my brain at the current moment. You know, because I'm in deep, you know, Have you read
Royally Yours?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Like,
those were great. Those were great. Yeah.
I need to reread that whole series. Freaking Emma Chase.
That was a good series. Yeah. And like I said, she's fantastic. She's absolutely fantastic. I love her. I just haven't read her a lot recently. Oops. For her, she's like Claire and Daphne for me. It's like if she releases, I drop everything to read her books. Because I don't know. I love Emma and I love her writing. Royally Yours and Screwed has to be my favorite book of hers. And Getting School is actually my favorite of that series. That one I haven't read.
Oh, it's really good. I keep begging her for her to do like a novella of that. Because it's a second chance story. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
And it's a little bit funny, but it still gives you that feels, the angst. It makes you cry. I cried. I feel like I cry with every single book.
I'll have to reread those. I really will. I'm on this, like, I haven't been reading a lot recently. I don't know, just
raise your hand if you haven't. I haven't either.
I just haven't been reading a lot recently. I really haven't. And I don't know. I just, you get through this time of like, okay, I just need to take a breather, recapture myself and recapture my emotions and, start new. And yeah, I just, I don't think I've read a book in the past week, except for the recent one that Kennedy Fox just did. But, before that, there were a couple other books that I read. Of course, the Enigma came out and, and then, you get thrown with such a sucker punch that it's like, oh, I can't read anything because now I'm in a book hangover.
Yeah.
And I need to reread the book that I just read.
That was Pain with T.L. Swan. I remember she was like, I'm in a book slump for what book was it? Was it the Stopover?
Mr. Garcia.
Yes.
I read Mr. Garcia, and then I was in a book slump for like almost a month. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't read anything. And then I don't even remember what book I read that got me out of it. It was actually because it was an arc though. So I have to read it no matter what because it's going to be released. So I have to read it. I don't remember which one it was, but Mr. Garcia put me in a huge book slump this year.
Yeah.
I haven't read that one yet. No, yes, I have. I am lying to you. Yes, I have.
T.L. Swan just puts you in a book slump.
Yeah. Yes.
Her books are really good.
Yeah.
I think I read them because of Pain.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I got so behind on my arcs thanks to Pain because I'm over here binge reading T.L. Swan. I read The Stopover, and then I read The Takeover, and then I read I don't know if it was a
Mr. Masters,
and then Mr. Garcia.
Oh,
no, I read 3 or 4 books back to back. I read 3 books, I think.
I think 4. Because didn't you read Mr. Masters and then Spencer also?
Yes. I got so behind on my arcs that whole month. And then that's why I'm not forcing myself to pick up the Casanova because I feel like once I start again, because I really want to read Gym Junkie, but I'm forcing myself to read the Casanova first. And I was like, if I read the Casanova, I'm going to have to read Gym Junkie. And then I'm going to go to, was it the Italian? Because Ferreira is coming out soon. So I was like, I want to read that one. But
oh, Gym Junkie was so good. I loved him. Oh,
yes.
I'll take him home. He can be my gym trainer, please.
Her book service are so like they're so something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I haven't read a lot, to be honest. I haven't read a lot lately, and I feel really bad. But if you are looking for something funny to read, you should pick up the series that KK Allen, Candy Stainer, and Tia Louise and Harlow Ray are taking out.
Okay.
Rom-com.
Okay.
Those are really
I've
good.
seen ads about them around.
Because I know Candy's just released, and I think Harlow's releases Monday. And then the following week is KK Allen, and then Tia, the last week of the week of Christmas.
Okay, I love Tia. Yeah, she's great.
Troubled. Have you read Troubled?
Yeah,
I love that book.
Tia, she put out a vampire book many years ago. I believe it was Tia. Yeah, it was, because I always go back to the book, and that was a really it was a duet or a trilogy. I don't quite remember what it was. It was like one. If she listens to this, I'm going to be shot. But it was like One to Hold or something like that, and it was really good. It was really good, and that's what got me on my kick with Tia.
Oh, I need to look that up. I literally just said that I wanted to get back into vampire books. Well, I've read some of hers, and that like Troubled has to be my favorite of hers to date. That one's really good.
Well, then you have Emily Goodwin, who puts out all of her hot vampires and mystical, and that's great. That's amazing.
It is. I love that series. And I've been trying to get Pink to read it, but she doesn't listen to me. But I know she did a separate series. I know she did
That's a long series.
How many books? Seven or eight books, I think.
Eight books.
That's a lot of books.
It's like Twilight all over again, but Twilights were thick.
Yeah. No.
Twilights were
she
thick.
Just put out the... Go ahead, sorry.
I know the last book in the Twilight series, like it took me like 2 weeks to finish it. Because it was so long. And that was when I was obsessed with Twilight, okay? Was is the key word, was. Now I look back and I look at my bookshelf and I was like, wow. I cannot believe I was that twihard waiting at midnight in the movie theaters for that movie to be released.
Wow.
With my Twilight shirt and being in the movie theater for like 6 hours.
Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Team Edward, all the way. To this day, I'm Team Edward.
Yeah. I do think Jacob is very hot. But I'm Team Edward for sure.
See, that's how I got into reading, to be honest, because like you said earlier, like I hated reading. I hated reading at school. We read To Kill a Mockingbird, I think it was. And after that, we read the book and I forgot the name of it. It's when these kids get stuck in an island and what's the name of it called? Lord of the Flies?
Yes, so. Lord of the Flies.
Yeah. So I hated that book. Like no offense if anybody's a fan of that book, but I hated that book.
Yeah.
And I went to Barnes & Noble and I picked up Twilight. And that's how I got into reading. I went from Twilight to The Hunger Games, from The Hunger Games to Divergent. And then that's how I found Christie. And then from Christie, I found Sylvia Day.
Yeah.
And then I found Jessica Sorensen.
Yeah, I found Jessica Sorensen too. I remember that series really well. Yeah.
She's supposed to write more of them and she hasn't.
I read Katie Evans, like her real series and, all of that. And yeah, at least you got Lord of the Flies. I got Animal Farm in school. Like a book about killing animals. And that is
so bad.
I couldn't do it. But it was one of those things too. When you grow up, you don't want to be forced to do something. And I just didn't want to be forced to read. And, sometimes a lot of kids get into it really young and, like read the Slam series and, all of those series, to start with. And you don't want to be forced to do something. And I didn't want to be forced to do something. And I think I had Twilight sitting on my shelf for probably a year before I even picked it up. And it was like, oh, maybe I should read. And then, of course, you just start reading. And then you're like, I'm done. Because you don't know where to go. And that's why, and, before, I feel like when I started reading, book community, you don't know about. You don't know about the book community. You don't know about, Facebook was very new. Facebook, wasn't out quite yet.
It was when MySpace was a thing.
Yeah.
Who remembers MySpace?
I know. I have a MySpace and I can't even shut it down because I don't even have
Me
password
too.
and the email address. So it's floating around in space somewhere.
With really lame music and really lame colorings on the profile.
Yes. But now it's just a world out there for people to reach out and just, hey, what should I read? I'm interested in this. Like, I have a 13-year-old who wants to read. Colleen Hoover is great for that, for, not a lot of banging going on, but really good.
Well, it depends on the book. It depends on the book. Ugly Love, I wouldn't think a 13-year-old should read Ugly Love.
Yeah. Well, like
You're Perfect.
Series, yeah.
Oh, but that one, yeah. Like, which one is the book that
my favorite was Maybe Someday?
Wait, is that the one where he's deaf or no?
Yes, where he's deaf.
Yeah, that one's a good book.
That was fantastic. I wouldn't think Twilight is for 13 years. Well,
Would you consider it a teen romance?
My daughter is 10 and she loves it, but I have to fast forward through half the movie. Especially the last one. I'm like, you're not seeing this part. Why not, Mom? Yeah, nope.
Like, we're fast forwarding
20, 30 minutes of the movie. You'll get the gist of it.
Yeah, I look back and I'm just like, is that really considered a romance? Twilight, I don't think. I mean, it's a teen fantasy. Now that I look back, I wouldn't consider it romance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There is romance in it. They fall in love. They love each other. They're obsessed with each other. They're overly obsessed with each other. They love each other. Then she goes to, I would consider it a romance. I wouldn't consider it like the romance that we read. Mm-hmm. But for a 13, 14-year-old, I'm sure they're exposed to the world. 16-year-old, I think there's always a good book to start off with if you're wanting to get into the romance and wanting to start reading romance and you don't quite know where to go. I think there's always a good starting point. And, The Hunger Games is great, reading that, starting that. And like I said, when I started reading, I read a lot, but then I read 50 Shades and I was like, okay, what's close to this? And then you Goodreads or you Google or whatever, and what are good books to read after this? And you get a list and then you read, okay, I'm looking for this. And like I said, this was before Facebook was really big and, authors, you don't really quite know what's, who's there and what's going on. And so you don't have that community. And so it's good for people to know that there is a community of book lovers online, and you just have to look. You just have to reach out to people, and especially Bookstagram, that wasn't a big thing, back when I started reading. It really wasn't. And now, I watch both of your pages, and, I message you guys and I'm like, hey, I'm in this book slump. What should I read next? And the other part too is like people with romance books, they're afraid. They don't want to be known that they read romance books. Yes. It's like mommy porn. It's, it's porn. But it's not. It's just, a lot of these books are beautifully written. And, for a mom like I am, it's good to escape. Go and escape for a minute, but it just has such a bad rep to it, which it really shouldn't, because there's amazing, brilliant authors out there who are in the romance community, and people read it. And don't be ashamed to read romance. It's okay. It really is. It's okay. My husband will look over my shoulder and he's like reading out of passages that's like really bad, and he always picks the wrong part to read it. And I'm just like, really? He's like, and my pants, and I'm like, oh no, go away.
But I think nowadays the romance community has expanded a lot. I mean, you have Netflix that it's doing a lot of movies nowadays. You have other like Colleen Hoover, when she did, what was that show called that she did it from her book? Yes. And I feel like 50 Shades of Grey, I think 50 opened the door for a lot of romance to expand. And I feel like now that's the number one genre that people read, romance. Because before it was seen as, it's, they're just reading like porn and stuff. I mean, my sisters used to tell me that.
Yeah.
But now it's very common. I mean, you have movies being made, which I just finished watching The Hating Game, which is a rom-com. It was so cute.
Can't wait till we watch that. I'm going to have to watch it soon.
Yes, it is super cute. Like, Confess, Colleen Hoover, Driven. So it's like a lot of the stuff nowadays is seen as normal.
Yeah.
Because I think romance is a big thing right now. The Bookstagram world has grown so much from when we started like 2-3 years ago. It's grown so much.
Yeah. And you're right. 50 Shades really did open that door, and they opened a door to be a little bit more dirtier, it's okay.
I mean, you have
Lifetime movies, you know,
you have
like
365 that is like
well, then you got Sex Life, and I love her. I love the author piece, but then you have like, you know, it's out there, but it's okay to be out there. You know, don't be ashamed to be reading or watching this stuff, because I mean, what you also do behind closed doors, you know, it's just not on television.
I mean, 365, it was big in Netflix because of the scenes. And I think we all know that's the only reason everybody was like, oh, so this is what it is about. Let me watch it. Which is why the book was, when it released in English, it was #1 in Amazon for a while. Because people were curious. I tried reading it. I couldn't get into it.
It was a hard translation from what it's originally written as to here. And that's where people can't really get into it because of the translation. It's just all over the place a little bit.
Yes.
It's okay. They tried.
Like Connie, I know Connie has been reading it. And she's like, I can't get into the second one.
She's like, I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. The first page is the book scene, and the second page, she's telling him she's pregnant, and then I can't read it. It's like, what's going on? I'm like, oh boy, okay. And her friend Jeannie's was like, well, it's different. It's, you know, from going from one language to the other, give it time. And she's like, I can't.
Because I do think like the romance community has grown, and it's growing a lot. Yeah, it's growing a lot, because I know Netflix, from what I've been seeing, they've been up like making really good romance movies.
Yeah, they have. They up their game.
Yes, they have. Like I recently went to this Barnes & Noble that never has really good romance books. I went yesterday. They expanded their like sales. They have so many of the books I didn't think I would find at Barnes & Noble.
Wow.
I was
That's
like,
amazing.
Amazon is topping their game.
You know, with COVID too, one of the things is, you know, how do we get movies out? Oh, now we have places to get movies out because people are watching virtually, and we can just put it on Netflix, and let's try and push this out really quickly. You know, it's like with and then of course it's hard because of COVID, but then you have Passionflix too, who's been able to take books and put them onto the screen, and our favorite romance books, and put them onto the screen, you know. And it's just great that it's starting to become out there. And, you know, life, you know, it's really nice to be able to see romance finally becoming on the screen, from the books to the, you know, to the screen. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Seeing Driven was so exciting. But I'm very excited for Kennedy Ryan's books, because her books are going to be movies.
Yeah.
But they're going to be, great. I guess, with a separate, I don't know what company she's doing them with, but I'm very, very excited about her books, because I think they optioned almost all of her books.
That's well, Brandon Jackson got all of her books optioned too.
6.
Yeah, and Brandon Jackson too. I've never read her books, so I need to.
I haven't either. I just haven't. I haven't. No, the Driven premiere was amazing. I fell on my butt through 2 chairs, but just slid right through the chairs. They have a photo of it circulating somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
But, you know, I'm very happy that the romance community is getting out there, and
I will say this. I think that is a good way of meeting people, because, like I said, me and Payne met through Driven, but we met through Driven, the premiere Driven, because we were looking for someone to go with, and that's how we found each other. So it's like you find friends and the stuff that you enjoy and that you love, and it's amazing that they're doing all of this. Because they're getting people together. I mean, we all saw each other in the premiere a couple months ago, and it was really good.
I know.
I hadn't seen Payne in like forever. I hadn't seen you since the first one, but
I know
it was.
We didn't really know each other back then.
Yeah,
you know? Like it's so, because the whole thing, like Driven came out, the premiere came out, Passionflix came out, and I didn't know anybody, and we started this Facebook chat group, and then we just grew into the best of friends. And I have my 3 best girlfriends in the whole entire world, you know, from that group. And I have you, and now Dan, and just like I have a group of friends that I don't see ever, but that's okay, because it's like, even though I chat with you guys online and I talk with you guys online, it still feels like I'm like right there with you guys.
Yeah.
It's a great community. It's a great place to have, you know, amazing friendships. It really is. And you all come from the love of something, you know, books, romance, books, you know, like, how amazing is that?
It's been amazing. And I am really thankful that, I mean, this community has brought all of us together, just because you do meet people that you like the same things with. And it's like, you grow into this big family and you have each other. Like, I'm always texting Payne, like, I'm bored, what should I read? Or like, we'll just text each other randomly. I feel like it's weird when we don't send a text to each other in a day.
Yeah.
So you grow into this big family, and I love that. It is amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I really do.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Ashley. It was a blast.
Yes.
And can't wait to see you again. It's going to be really fun.
I know. It was great to see you guys. Honestly, thank you for having me. I can't wait to see you guys, chat with you. And now I have Pan to come after for book recommendations when you don't answer, Jan.
I'm always. But I'm going to send you a list of books that you need to read that are going to make you cry.
Please do. Please do. I would love to. I need that. I need that right now. I need that soul crushing book right now.
Pick up Jay McLean. Definitely pick up Jay McLean.
For sure. We'll do.
I'm gonna pick up her books right now and reread them just because now I want to. But thank you so much, and we hope you have an amazing weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful holiday season too.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Well, thank you. It was such an honor to have Ashley with us. She is amazing. I love her. She's so sweet. Like she said, we saw each other in the Field premiere, which was very fun because I hadn't seen her since The Driven, and we didn't really know each other, like she said. So it was very fun, and I love talking to people that love books that we do. It was really fun. But thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us. And we are going to be trying to do more of this in 2022, which it's like less than a month from now. I cannot believe it. It's like 3 weeks. How did that happen? Which comes close to this being our almost a 1-year anniversary since we started our podcast.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
But thank you guys so much for listening to us again for another podcast. I do want to remind you that we have a giveaway, a Jody Ellen Malpas giveaway in our page that closes on the 23rd. You have a chance on winning I would say a book box because it's 3 books. It's a signed copy of This Man, Gentleman Sinner. And then we are going to be shipping the Enigma. The Enigma is not signed, but Gentleman Sinner and This Man are. So make sure you enter. Just head over to @BookBuzz Podcast on Instagram, and you're going to look for our feed post and just enter. And we're going to be closing that very soon, like I said, on the 23rd. We did also announce earlier in the week that we have one more author interview, and that's going to be for Alexandra Silva. I love her. She is the sweetest, most lovable person ever, and she writes dark romance, and that dark romance is my everything. So I'm so excited to talk to her about that series because I have so many questions, and so you guys can hear how much I beg her for certain things to happen with her characters. But it's going to be so much fun, and we hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. If you guys have any questions for us, just let us know. Send us a message on Instagram. We're always available. And if you guys have any author requests that we should read or should interview, just let us know. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.